Welcome back to Do-It-Myself Garage. Picked up a couple of push mowers. Put an ad out on next door, or just a request saying, hey, anybody got some mowers that are dead? And picked these up. I'm hoping I can get them running. Want to get one fixed up for the grandson so he can start mowing some yards. And then the other one I'll give, if I can get it running good, I'll give away. This one here, the deck's broken out a little bit. Looks like it's fiberglass. I'll have to fix that. And yeah, the other one, I just started cleaning up and realized I forgot to start filming. So I'll get you set up on the tripod. Let's get these cleaned up and then see if we can get them running. I think I mentioned it. I picked these up on next door, but I got them for free. People just donated them, so I don't even know if they turn over. Let's try to do that real quick. I haven't checked the oil or nothing. Let me see if it even turns over. I probably should have done that before I even picked them up, huh? Okay, she turns over. Stiff, but turns over. I'll pull the plug. And let's see this one here. Let's see if she turns over. Okay. She turns over, but boy, she's stiff too. Alright. Check the oil. Plenty of oil in that one. Plenty of oil in that one. Looks good. Alright. I doubt they have any fuel in them. No fuel at all. Nice and clean though. Fuel in this one? No. Oh, a little bit of junk right around the cap there. Let me get rid of it. Man, these mowers are identical almost. This one has a cage around it and a bagger. This one has a cage around the exhaust and a bagger. They're like identical. All right, let me pull them spark plugs out. Put some oil down the deal. Wow, I couldn't have picked more identical. They must have the exact same Briggs & Stratton mower on them. That is funny. Yeah. Identical except for the body on the mower. So these should fire up pretty easy as long as they have spark, and I'll throw some fuel in them. Now that I know they both turn over. Yeah, one wasn't overly tight, which is good. The Poulan actually seems the better of the two because it's self-propelled and I don't need a bagger. But other people, oh, this plug wasn't even tight at all. I mean, like, I could have turned it out with my finger. And that looks good too. I'm just going to go hit these with a wire brush. Spray some oil in there. And then we'll see if we can't get them to fire. Alright, let's pull it over without without the plug in there. I just sprayed something in there. Okay, this one's getting easier to pull. Alright, let's put the plugs back in. Since both gas tanks were empty, I'm going to assume the carburetors probably are clean. I'm just going to throw some gas in them. It is 90 degrees out here. Not the best day to be out working on something in the yard. Oh, well that's not good. You see it leaking? Let me put him on his side. We'll have to take that one apart. Let's see if I can get this one started. I already gave her a prime. Alright, dead man switch. That was literally the first pull, guys. Okay, come on. Let's try to start this one real quick, even though she's leaking. Obviously, I have to take that bolt apart and fix that. Okay. They're going to be stubborn today, aren't they? When it's 90. Okay, so I made a bit of a miscalculation. I tried to start these. It was really super hot last weekend, so it's a week later. So they did fire up, but that's because I had put some carb cleaner in there, and it was running off the carb cleaner. Apparently, not running off the gas. So I'm going to pull the carbs, clean them, check for a fuel shut-off, just, you know, check everything there is with the fueling system on both mowers, and then hopefully they'll run. So pretty obvious it's a fuel delivery issue, and then we should have running mowers. Alright, I'm going to be basically doing both mowers at the same time here because they're identical. I'll keep the stuff separate on the bench, aka freezer. I just opened that one up and it was plumb full of junk. This one's not much. This one's way better. That one over there is all full of grass and aminal and who knows what else. I'll have to get some more air cleaners. Both elements are just packed. But that's off of there. Now we can get to the carburetor itself, which I believe when we take these two bolts off, the entire carburetor falls off with the fuel line. Now this mower here completely drained all the fuel out. Dummy me. I knew it had a fuel leak, but I thought I was going to get it running right away. So the fuel I dumped in there is gone. Just a goner. So fortunately I didn't dump that much in. Like I said, it's gonna be nice. These two are basically identical. Okay, oh, I thought that would take the carburetor off. So I got two bolts back here. There is no fuel shut off at all. Okay, here's that second mower. Here's this Toro. So yeah, that one's completely shot, rusted. And like I say, these things are identical. So this should be pretty easy to work on and order parts for. Oh yeah, I just noticed that they both say 190 cc. One says 6.25 gross torque or foot-pounds, and the other one says 6.75, but they're the exact same engine. So it's someone round up and someone round down. 6.25 and 6.75. Oddly specific, but the identical mower. I mean, the mower is 190 cc, Briggs & Stratton. Well, actually, this other one doesn't say it's a Briggs & Stratton, though. That's interesting. Okay, so there's a hose on the back of here. I'm sure that's like a crankcase ventilation. It came off the other one real easy, but there was a little more stuck on this one. And I'll clean this all up before I put it back on. All right, I got the pliers. Same thing here. Now this one still has some gas in it. It didn't have a leak. So this one might be a little interesting. Take it off of here. We might have gasoline all over, but it is what it is. Alright, so there's the hose right here. There we go. And that's gonna leak gasoline everywhere. Unless I put something in the hole. Yeah, I really didn't plan that ahead, did I? Nope, not big enough. Dagnabbit. Alright, still gonna leak, but it's way better. Okay. Now let's see if we can get it off of here. Should be just a couple of bolts in the back. And of course they can't be the same size. Why would they be the same size? Looks like there we go. That's above the level of the gas tank. Perfect. Okay, so now this was an 8mm for the that piece, and so the other piece is probably a 9 or a 10mm. All right, tilted it up on end. This did end up being a 10mm. I just must not have been getting on there proper. Anyway. Should only be 2 bolts holding this from what I can see. And yeah, pay attention to your carb linkage. That'll probably be the hardest thing that you do here, is getting that linkage correct. So pay attention to what hole it is. It's in the end hole. And there we go. It was in the end hole on here. And bowl down, so should be pretty straightforward. Let's get the carburetor off the other one, and then we'll clean this up. So this is the carburetor off the second one. I wonder why it was leaking. The bowl wasn't even tight, so I gotta take them all apart and clean them anyway. The gasket on this one is intact, so that'll make it a little easier finding a new gasket, or me just making a. Maybe I'll just make a new one for the old one. But anyway, pretty straightforward. And these carburetors are identical, so I'm not too worried about mixing them up. They're basically the exact same mower. All right, so since this bowl was loose, I just took it off. Super clean inside. I mean, like, I just gotta wipe the dirt off that got in there from the outside. That's the screw that held the bottom on, so I'll have to make sure there's a gasket or something that's supposed to keep that from leaking, because wouldn't think metal on metal. Oh, there's an O-ring here. Probably replace, there's like a flat ring right here. It's not an O-ring, it's just a little flat ring. I'll make sure he's seals. Float seems to be working. Just needs a good clean. What I might just do is I have an ultrasonic cleaner. I might just throw these in the ultrasonic, and that'll clean all the small little ports and stuff. Alright, got the bolt on the bottom of this one. Looks like the gasket stuck to the bowl. This one is not coming apart very easily. Come on. It's like the O-ring stuck to that. Oh, let's see if I can get a screwdriver under the outside of it. I don't want to damage it. Oh, it might help if I do it on camera. Anyway, I just pried right here, just really lightly. You don't want to break stuff. That is filthy inside. Look at that. Filthy, filthy, filthy. So it looks like someone else, this other one that was loose, like someone else is maybe working on it. But this one is dirty, so we're going to have to clean up the seats and everything. Probably need some new O-rings, gaskets. Yeah. This one's definitely going to be really dirty inside. I still don't know why. So this one didn't run because it was leaking the fuel. This one was probably clogged. So let's see here. This one here. This. Yeah. So to get the float out, there's just a pin that comes out. So you gotta be careful with these things. This comes out. That's your needle and seat. And then there's got to be a I shouldn't say there's got to be a spring, but just be careful with the pieces. That one was definitely a lot more stuck. And yeah, that needle looks good. It's probably just the seat that's clogged. So I'm just gonna throw them in the ultrasonic, and we'll give them a good bath, and then see if they work after that. Because I don't think there's really not a whole lot to these. It's a couple of jets, and everything seems to move fine. Let's just get them cleaned up. All right, so I have this old ultrasonic cleaner I got from work, and I'm gonna go 50-50 vinegar and water. This old ultrasonic, can't remember, it's either the timer or the heating element or something broke in it, so we couldn't use it anymore. So grabbed it, and this is my first time using it, so it was going to go in the dumpster otherwise. It was no good at work, unfortunately. Alright, I grabbed as hot a tap water as I could. There we go. And I'm going to turn it on. I think that's a... There we go. I think that was an alarm code. We'll give her an hour. Heat. Sonic. Take. Maybe I'll just leave that gasket on there. Not really worried about anything else. No, that should just clean up. We'll throw that guy in there. Not even worried about him. And that's it. I'm going to take this gasket with me. So hopefully I can go find a carburetor rebuild kit. Maybe I can, there's one of them that has a, like a gasket kit for one of these things. And tell the family not to play around with this. Holy cow, that stuff's already rolling off of there. Yeah, hold on, I'll show you here in a second. It's already turning muddy. So there we go. We'll let that go for a good hour. It's set for 130 degrees. I don't even know if the heating element works, so we'll find out. Alright, apologize for the background noise. Got the neighbors over here mowing. I was pulling this out of here. It's going to brush off a little bit. I mean, look how clean that gets it. It's just amazing. So that gets down in the little ports and everything too. I should plug in my air compressor real quick. Blow this thing out. Apparently I already have the air compressor plugged in. Ooh, almost blew my other stuff where no. Alright, here's the other carburetor. This is probably the little bit dirtier one, so yeah. Just gotta scrub it out in the tank real quick. Hold on here. So, there we go. Looking way better. Blow that off too. Apologize for the compressor. It's going to kick in here in a minute as soon as I start blowing. It just does an amazing job. And this is just a nylon brush. I'm not even using a metal one. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Alright, well, let's put it back together and see if this thing will run. I just realized I forgot to put the floats in there. Gotta be careful with these. I don't know that vinegar, I mean, fuel won't eat them up, but I don't think vinegar would either. But there's no, I had it filled with fuel, so if these leaked, you would think that they'd have a little bit in them. But I'm going to try to put it back in just the way they are. If you can see this one here. So I put the needle back in there. And then this guy drops in. And then this slid, this goes in that slot because it has to push and pull. So it goes right in there. There we go. The other advantage to filming all my repairs, or a lot of my repairs, is that if I make a mistake, I can go back and watch my own videos. I actually had to do that on the GTO. I wasn't sure how all the pulley system on the front worked because it's a little bit of a hodgepodge motor. So there we go. And then, oh, I got another piece in here. Remember how nasty this was? Look at that. Bet you that'll wipe out and that'll be silvery silver. Look at that. It's like brand new. Except for the outside where it's all greased up, but that part don't matter so much. Okay, so I'm going to put him back on here. This already has the rubber seal, so that must be this one. There we go. With any luck, that'll seal. Let's do the other one now. And that rubber seal looks good enough, as long as it's tight. Alright, so the gaskets on the front really aren't going to do a hill of bean of difference. But you do have this guy right here. This is the rubber gasket that goes between the carburetor and the body. And I am going to replace that. That's really the only one that's going to matter. The other paper gaskets really shouldn't be a big deal. Let's go put this back together. I'll show you what I'm doing. Okay, so this one had the rubber right on here, so I'm going to take that off. And I'll be honest, I am not worried about cleaning up anything else on these mowers. Don't lose it in the engine. There we go. There we go. And then I went and bought some new filters. Just a standard Briggs & Stratton filter. Old filter, new filter. In my experience, the seal that this makes is not all that important. I am by no means an expert. All I know is that for small engines, it's usually good enough. I had to look for that thing longer than I care to admit, and it was right here. Okay. Oh, might want to hook up the fuel line while I can see it. You know what? Let's take this off. By the way, small engines are the only thing you should ever use these spring clamps on ever, in my opinion. There we go. Plenty good. Okay, now we can get that back on there. Yeah. Alright, I don't know how much of that I missed or not. Battery's basically dead, and I don't know how the battery's dead because that was a fresh battery. Anyway, new battery time. Alright, put the filter in there. This cover back on. Have to put the cover partially on before I do the filter maybe. There we go. Alright, I'm going to put the other mower together and then we'll do a double start. Alright, let's roll them outside, put some gas in them, and so we can't get these things to start up. I'll do the blades if I can get them to run. Okay. I really don't hear that primer doing nothing, but let's try. Try that again. Okay, that was definitely running off the fuel. So looks like the idle is way too low. Alright, let's give up on that one for a minute. See if this one runs. Maybe I can have one small victory today. And then I'll have to tear that carburetor apart. I must have a clogged port somewhere. Okay. This is arguably the rougher of the two because the deck is broke. But let's see if she works. Good old Toro. What the other one was supposed to do. It's really tempting actually. Pull the carburetor off of here and put it on that one to make sure I don't have a problem. It ran. It's just the carburetor. Alright, so I'm going to roll this one off to the side and keep working on the carburetor. Alright, just finished putting it all back together. I checked the fuel line to make sure it wasn't clogged. We'll give her a little shot just to make sure. Might take a minute for the fuel to fill up the bowl because I just flipped it. The other one started on the first pull. Alright, I swapped carburetors. Let's see if it runs. The other one starts with single pull with this carb. Well, it's definitely the carb. Okay, so nothing wrong with this mower. Alright, I have a sneaky suspicion I'm going to lose that video because the thing cut out. So the bottom of this carburetor here, there's that brass nut, but what that is that's actually basically the emulsion tube or the fuel pickup, and the hole is plugged on it. So there's two holes in it plus the hole through the center, and the two pickup holes in the bottom are clogged. So getting her ball put back together, and let's see if we can get her to start. Give her a try. Please start. There we go, ready to donate. I'll clean it up a little bit more. She'll be ready to donate. That's awesome. All right, there we go. I'm not the best at small engines. You can see a little smoke coming out of this one here. I went ahead and mowed a little bit of the yard. Does a pretty good job. I hadn't even sharpened the blade yet. I'll do that tomorrow, or maybe here tonight. Maybe I'll tip them up and do that. Pretty sure that one's smoking. I had it on its side. I'm sure it got some oil in places it shouldn't have had it, but 2 free mowers. You know, ask around in your neighborhood if you need a mower. A lot of times people have them, they replace them, they don't know what's wrong with them. They're not that hard to get going. The carburetor is really simple. Like I said, the only thing I messed up on the one is I forgot that screw on the bottom actually has some holes in it, and they were clogged. So once I got them cleaned out, it starts right up. I don't even think the priming circuit's working on these things. It doesn't matter. They just run. The little lawnmowers, they'll run for a long, long time. One of the big things, though, if you don't want them to mess up, always use premium gas. If you're in the north like I am, and we have ethanol, don't put it in your lawn equipment. The ethanol evaporates. It tends to attract moisture, and then it leaves all kinds of junk inside the bowls and everything on these carburetors. So always use premium. So she's running good. It looks like I got a little bit of a leak here. Maybe I got a fuel leak on this one. So I got a little more work to do, but they're both running. That was the hardest part. So thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all those great things, and we'll see you in the next video.